Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you'll need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
What is going on, guys? Good morning to you guys. Bitcoin 72,300. Are we serious? Classes in session. What is going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on? Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful Monday morning. Bitcoin sure is. Let's go and hang out with my one and only collab host, Mr. TradeFly himself. What's going on? Good morning.
What's going on? Hey, how was the weekend, man?
The weekend was incredible. I'm doing a bunch of renovations, lots of plates in the air, but how was yours, man? How's it going?
Hey, it was good. It was good. I actually took a little step back, kind of relaxed. I didn't get too crazy with doing anything. Played a little golf yesterday. All right.
No way.
Out there, yeah. Getting the stroke going and the stoke flowing, baby. Just like this show. Let's go.
That's amazing. Yeah, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. The chat is on fire. New all-time high. What's going on? Indie Rock, Crypto, Donato Cabrera, Eric Wallen, Crux of Crypto, Lunar Beaches, Crypto Ada Ace, all you guys. Alexandra G. What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Amazing. So let's jump into it. We got a busy week ahead of us, as we know. So let's jump into it. We've had a massive pump. Let's go and look at the bubbles. We also have a discussion about the economic calendar for this week and all that good stuff. So we can see AI still leading a narrative. Massive week for AI. This is the weekly here, looking at Render, FET, AGIX, and Near has done really well as well. And of course, those meme coins are poking their heads out as well. Going into the day today is looking strong as well. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff coming this this week, but we need to be prepared for everything. Now, switching over into the liquidation heat maps, we have had one of the single largest liquidations, just a mere $8.8 million and 354 million liquidations within the last 24 hours. A lot of people getting wrecked. Like we always suggest, is lower that leverage and that margin in an environment such as this, because a lot of people, getting over leverage, getting the hype train going and getting hurt. Now we can look at our heat map as well. Looking at the heat map, we can see that we don't have much underneath us. I think you pointed this out, TradeFly, last time that we talked about looking at the heat map here. But we are starting to put a little bit above us here where people are possibly shorting, which is highly unrecommended in this environment.
So the big thing is that yellow line right there where you're at, right? That's the one that everyone should have kept an eye on and been like, hey, where is the quickest strike for the maker? And that was it. Like,
that was it.
Of course, it clears it out. Now we're like, we can kind of we have freedom of movement. So now is when it kind of like settles out and we find out, what are we really going to do here? Because we cleared out some of that liquidity. But you could always look at probably the weekly. I would say there's probably going to be some down around 60K or somewhere in that zone would be my guess, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, right around 65,000. There's a bunch down here. So this is looking pretty good. Wicked sweep of that liquidity and pushing it back up. Let's jump to the dual cam. I know you got some news for us, TradeFly, and some stuff coming up this week. It looks pretty interesting, man.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go over to my screen here and check it out. BlackRock is now topping MicroStrategy and institutional BTC holdings, but hold on, because there's going to be news on that front also. I think Michael Saylor said, no, sir. I want to stay in the game here. So we've been talking about this quite a bit. And BlackRock, I mean, we all know it's opened up the doors for the ETFs. Like, it was one of the big dogs in the fight. We were talking about it in the news. We're saying, hey, BlackRock's getting into this. We need to pay attention now, right? Because this is pretty much what we thought was going to happen. And I think, Alex has been talking about on his show. We've been talking about on our show, and it's come to fruition. Here we are. But the interesting thing about it is it's been so successful. It has added 31,588 BTC just this week. That's insane, right?
That's wild, man.
Yeah, marking its third best week since launch. But here we go. Here's the kicker, and here's where it's going to get more fun. It has now a total of 196,088 BTC, which edges out, guess who? MicroStrategy. All right, so Michael Saylor, sorry, buddy, pushing you to the back seat here because you only hold 193,000. But guess who just bought some? That's right. Michael Saylor just bought 12,000 BTC today.
These guys are playing ping pong with Bitcoin, man.
Dude, this is wild. Like, if you really, really think about it, like, it's getting competitive. Like, you're Michael Saylor, like, granted, he doesn't usually buy the top, but he doesn't usually buy the bottom either. And now he bought the freaking, like, we'll say it was the top, the all-time high. And to go in that hard at this price point, this dude, like, he believes it's still going to go up. He's not going to invest this amount of capital into something that he doesn't think is going to make him money. So, dude.
Absolutely, man. That's a lot of conviction, brother. Like, that's
Bullish?
wild to see that, like,
Yeah. Bullish question mark?
That's the one.
So yeah, let's we'll head on over. I got a couple Twitter things, little X marks the spot, as Piper likes to call it. So looking at the Kabisi letter, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. We're set to receive a ton of important inflation data, and on the next one, we'll kind of talk about what that is. But, like, you guys need to kind of strap up a little bit and realize there could be some volatility incoming, especially this week with inflation data, and really understanding how that inflation data is going to affect the market overall, right? So understand that if inflation goes down, you may actually see, it seems like good news, right? But traditionally speaking, you might actually see the market pull back a little bit, followed by a little bit of recovery where the market actually might, like, take off, which is, it's kind of hard to think about. NASDAQ, I think that recently all-time high, right? S&P 500 recently all-time high. Bitcoin recently all-time high. So, like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's really like hard to understand, but just be ready for volatility, right? Anytime anything, especially the whole market is at an all-time high, strap in and do what we always tell you to do. Set a stop loss, right? For me personally, like, if I've been holding for a long time and I think there's going to be some volatility incoming with some kind of, big announcement or a lot of news, I may push up my stop loss to lock in profits, right? Because I don't want it to, pull back, and then I'm just sitting here looking like, damn, like, I should have taken some profits, like, take a look, man. Some of the smarter people in the space, they're cashing out. They're buying vehicles. They're getting Burberry. I mean, I'm seeing it all over the place right now, so just, take note, be cautious. I'll say that. So leading into that, what data's
so
coming
important.
out? Yeah. Take profits, man. Like, enjoy your profits too. Like, you earned it. You made it through the bear market. Like, you guys, I mean, you've been thrown through the ringer, props. I'll say that. Props to everyone. So, all right, what data's coming out? And this is just this week alone.
This is crazy this week, man. Get your popcorn.
Yeah, dude. You got February CPI inflation data. That's Tuesday. OPEC monthly report Tuesday. February PPI inflation data. That's Thursday. Retail sales data is on Thursday. Was it sales that when I was on the show with you? I think it was retail sales, and it just like dumped like live, and we're like, what? Like, we didn't see that wild. Coming, but yeah. Initial jobless claims data that comes out Thursday, and then the MI consumer sentiment data is on Friday. So we got a bunch a bunch of news coming out, and like I said, it's likely to lead to some volatility this week. I mean, you could see it kind of going up and down depending on what's coming out on what day. So be ready for that. So yeah, let's go over to the duo cam and let's chat it out. I like to hear
Yeah,
kind of
no,
your
that's
perspective, what you're thinking, maybe maybe what your strategy is going into this week.
so for me as a like for trading and for strategy, it's always to wait for the dust to settle, right? Because whenever I watch these news events for so many times I've watched these news events, and there's always a fake move, the liquidation of the fake move, and then the actual move. There's always three moves, in my opinion, from what I've seen, where they get everybody on the hype train. Let's say they pump it up and everybody starts going long, right? And then they smack it down on all those people. And then the people who went short, thinking they're a genius up at the top of that pump, they come right back for them. And then the dust settles and then you get the actual move, right? So it's identifying when those times are, right? And I believe a lot of these are at 7:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. So if you are prepared, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna get my big bag of popcorn at 7:15 and prepare for the markets. Watch this show, the fireworks happen, and then reassess with key levels and kind of the key idea, and understand that we are in a very bullish environment right now. However, they're not just going to keep making it easy for us, right? These pullbacks, we can see the wicks. Like, we don't get wicks like this in Bitcoin normally, right? And we can see throughout the charts that there's like $400 or $500 wicks just coming back for people who got in a little bit late, right? So for me, it's waiting for that dust to settle with all this crazy of a week coming for us.
That really makes sense. And I started getting the text messages and everything. Bitcoin hit the all-time high at 69, K, and people are started like hitting me up again. I'm like, you got to relax, man. Like, people are going to start like taking profits at this point. Like, yeah, I mean, you could, if like you got conviction, it's still going to go up. I mean, but set a stop loss. But I would like, hey, take a step back and like same thing. Like, wait a second, let it kind of find a range. Let's see where we're at. Let's see how this handles being up in this area. Like, are we going to consolidate? That's one of the big things like I want to look for is like, let's find some sort of range here. Or I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I didn't think we were going to press up to 72K this easy. Like, I mean, but if you looked at the measure move on the bull pennant that was on the 4 hour, it played out almost perfectly. So it's very, very interesting, man. But I'm of the same mindset. I like to let things settle out. I'm a trader, and I'll just wait for it to hit my good old chemtrails. Love the old support resistance levels. So.
That's the one, man. Yeah, I was telling OC we're hitting 72, and he was like, no.
He opened it short, didn't
he? Right? Yeah, he was ready to short it down, and he was looking to and that's okay. Like, as traders, he had a plan and he executed his plan, right? And we're not always going to be perfectly right. However, he has a strategy, right? And I think that's the biggest thing you can do is have a plan, execute the plan, and have that kind of conviction, right? Just like Michael Saylor's conviction right now to keep buying the top because he clearly thinks we're going higher, right?
Yeah, so that's like let you guys behind the scene on some of my like trading strategy. I don't really hold for a long time, and like I don't get to the top and say, hey, I'm gonna short it all the way down. I don't get to the bottom and say I'm gonna long it all the way up. I find the support and resistance levels. Like, I knew that the all-time high was going to be a resistance level. So you guys saw me like when we were hitting it, and I asked like on the show, I'm like, hey, are we shorting here? That's where I'll look for those small like 2 to 3% like moves off of that very significant level. And then I'll just put a little bit of leverage. I'm not a degen by any means. I don't do this 50x stuff. I do, like 5x is usually my max. Unless like if you ever see me do 50x or something crazy, I only use like $100. Like, but if I'm doing like a normal trade where I'm using actual capital, then I'm looking for a 2 to 3% move and like no more than 5x leverage. And then that's it. I'm out. And I don't even, I don't care. Like, I take my 2 to 3% win and I just smile and I put it in the piggy bank and then I go do it again,
I love it. I love it. I think that's true. It's like a lot of people think it's like, oh, let's see how much percent I can get on a trade, when really leverage is used to to use for multiple trades. So let's say I
Mama
have.
TradeFly just delivered, bro.
Oh yeah, there you go. You got special
Yeah.
delivery,
Now I
guys.
got the real stuff.
If you ain't checking out this legendary aviation coffee, I don't know what you're doing, man. Because
Look at this.
it's delicious. It's
Look at this. Look
delicious.
how
So
good that looks.
you got
With the
froth, man.
yeah, on top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's some bull market coffee there, man.
That's that bougie coffee, baby.
I just read this actually. What do you think about this? Bitcoin just surpassed silver to become the 8th largest asset in the world, man.
Dude, yeah. So we talked a little bit about it on Investing Bros, and for me, that solidifies the narrative. We're saying, hey, Bitcoin is this digital gold, and everyone's like, well, what's the utility? There's its utility. Like, people are using it as a store of value. Like,
yeah.
Why do you hold gold? You're not taking that to CVS to get your like prescriptions. Like, let's be honest. It's a store of value. Now, if things get weird and the world falls apart, then yeah, it's cool to have something tangible. And we go back to our old days of like trading, like physical possessions and assets. Yes. But like, we're not there right now. So
No.
it's fitting the narrative. I think it's awesome, dude. I think it's super cool. And I think it's actually massive, massive news that not a lot of people are talking about.
Yeah, and I think what it really does, it like puts it on the map for let's say not maybe people who are into crypto, like maybe it's institutions, maybe it's retail, you know. I think that's just it's spreading the word, and they're like, okay, this is where it pegs up, right? So it's like, what's wrong with it, right? Because it's like a lot of BS. Like even in the mainstream newspaper in Canada here, all I saw was a headline that Bitcoin crashed, right? And that was last week when we dropped from, you know, that all-time high back down to 60,000. That quick sweep we got.
Yeah.
And of course they're pushing the newspaper. It crashed, right? And look what happened, right?
Yeah.
So
12
like,
hours later, it's like up like 6,000. Like, you don't know crypto. Right? Stop talking about it. Let me and AlexO do your crypto. How about that?
There we
like,
go.
and then we'll just iron stomachs. Like, yeah, cool. It pulled back. Like, it'll probably recover. Let's just take a look. We just came down to support level, you know?
Yeah, it's very simple. Like, yeah, exactly. I think that's a strategy to keep people away from it as it goes up, right? And then, I should have got in here and blah, blah, blah. And they become exit liquidity. So we'll,
you know, I don't know. I think they're just dumb.
I love that. That's like just so simple, man. It's just they're just not thinking, man. They're just not thinking.
They don't know. They don't know that crypto swings 10K in a day, man. Like, we've seen it before. We're used to it.
Yeah, exactly. So. We got Shroom coming through in the chat. What's going on, man? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Dave P, Mark Dutch, Clay the Great. Good to see you guys, man.
Welcome. Mark, baby. I haven't seen you in a while. What's up?
Thank you for coming and checking out the show. Gia S, as usual. Thank you guys for supporting this show. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So are we going to jump into some charts? Because, I mean, we might as well look at Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, we can do that. You see Clay the Great? AVAX is clapping cheeks right now.
Oh, man. All right, I'm over here on Bitcoin, and first to talk about the weekly candle. This thing is silly, man. This thing is silly. So we had like one of our biggest candles ever, right here. This I believe is like a 20% candle. This is a 3 white soldiers pattern here. So this is looking bullish as ever. Continuation to the upside here. And then we got this big monster candle right here. So you can see the weekly is not letting up. So that's very important to note. And then I like to talk a lot about when we get over to here is that like what consolidation does for the price, right? So you can see like we were stuck within this range way down here. And then we get the consolidation, the move, the consolidation, the move, the consolidation, the move. And I kept saying to everybody that it's like these Mondays, man, these Mondays looking good. You know what I mean? If we mark out Mondays looking all right. So this was
what to keep an eye on now is the Asian market. Like,
yes,
it's starting to move it. I don't know if you noticed, like it's becoming a trend. Like Sunday evenings,
Sunday evenings is becoming a trend. Yeah, absolutely. You get the candle close. And it dipped down a little bit on us last night, and then while we were sleeping, we wake up to a 72,000, which is absolutely insane, right? We're just like, okay, I thought we were getting a little bit of a cool off. Looking at the 4-hour here last night, a little bit of a cool off, and then that continuation upwards as we are knocking on this level. Now, I do have a couple key level of extensions for you guys, just in case you're wondering where I think we're going next. 75,200, 76,000, let's call that 77,000. And then I got a big 80,000 up here as well. So those are some key levels that I'm targeting right now for a continuation of this move if we don't cool off where we are right now. We did come up to a key level of resistance around 72,000, which was that measured move, I believe, that we were talking about earlier from this flag, was it? So if we measure this flag out and we go from here to here, I believe it was 72,000. That's why we were all saying 72,000. So that was kind of our target. Maybe I measured that wrong, but we were saying 72,000.
Yeah. No, that's the measured move off the bull flag on the 4-hour was somewhere around 72K.
Yeah, so that's amazing, right? So we can see that we got up to that 72,000. We are cooling off a little bit right now, and like we said, this is going to be a very volatile week. So for me as a trader, I'm actually looking for a retest of these highs right now. That's where I'm targeting, and that matches up quite nicely with a golden pocket from where the move started, as you can see right now. So this is kind of where, if we are going to retest, I think we're going to come back down to the 70,000 mark, only to continue upwards. That's kind of my plan right now this morning that I shared out with my community, where I'm looking for Bitcoin to kind of move, and my kind of trade setup idea right now. So it's about being patient. I always stress, don't be chasing these candles, right? Don't be chasing them. Wait for the cool off, the retest, and the continuation, right? And you can always back check these moves of where you're going to go with something like the Dixie and see what the Dixie's doing. I believe the Dixie's up today. Yeah. So you're getting a little bit of a push up, which typically means a little bit down for risk on assets. So we let the dust settle. We let the people who are long in the top get wrecked here. And then we as a community look to profit off of the little bit of a retest of the previous highs. And that's kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. Just to remain patient, right? Patience pays, as I always say.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
I got AVAX up, man. He said it was clapping. I was like, hey, let's pull it up. Why not? All right. So taking a quick look at AVAX. I'm just on the weekly. I'm not going to get super into details with TA here with AVAX, but I'm going to give you a couple areas to look at, right? So we had this move up, and it's up for argument whether you want to start here, where this looks like a bull flag on the weekly. So I can only imagine what that looked like on the daily. But I'm going to start it here from bottom to top, the pullback, do a fib extension. Let's just see where we can go. And the reason I like where this one ended up is because you're putting the 618 near an area of support, previous support, right, at about $54. So you see here, you got very obvious areas of support here. And what do I always teach you guys? Look for the big breakdown, right? That's your confirmation that that area is significant. So you have a big breakdown. Look at that, came all the way down. And now we're up at these levels again. All right, so where do I think we could go? If AVAX continues to push up and right, you're going to look at about $54. That would be my area. If I was doing, some kind of swing trade, I would be looking at for, to take profit or to exit a trade for myself personally. So that's a very important area. Somewhere around 50, say 53 to 54 is an area to look for. That would be a nice target area. And then if it pulls back, what are we looking for? Where's an area that you can get back in? It's funny. You look at your chart sometimes, you pull them up, you haven't looked at something for a long time, and you find these little nuggets. Like, what was I doing with this smiley face? I must have really liked something on the charts that was like, yeah, I think we're going to go up, because I usually do that. I do a rocket emoji, a plane, or a smiley face or something that lets me know, like, hey, it's something I'm looking for. So it's always funny going back on your charts. But anyways, if it pulls back, $42 would probably be a likely area of support that I would be looking at. And you can see it right here, even on the wicks on this weekly here, you can see it struggled with that area quite a bit. So there's the two key areas for you to look back. If you pull back, $42 could be an area to re-enter. And then 53 to 54, if it continues this up and right trajectory, would be an area that I would look for some kind of resistance. That's a
I
quickie
like that.
for AVAX.
I love that. That's good. Got to keep it simple, stupid, as they say. KISS, right?
KISS, baby. I know
Yeah,
that one.
man, that's the one,
That's a
right?
big military thing.
Yeah. Keep it simple, right? And trust the TA. Going over to Flow. Mark Dutch wanted me to look at Flow, so I got Flow pulled up.
Yo, I got my flow going. Let's go.
Let's go. So just checking out Flow here. Now, what I've done is sometimes when these things are moving parabolically, like Flow is currently, and you can see massive wicks to the downside. So this is something where it's like, you got to be careful, man, with stuff like this. I mean, this is a massive, massive wick, right? This is no joke where you're dropping 14% and bouncing back up within the day, right? So for me, what I've done is I isolate an area where we had previous resistance, right? So on our way down in the previous in the bear market, right, when we're dropping here, we can isolate an area of volume and drag that across to where we're trading at right now. So what I've done is I've pulled volume within this area, and then I've marked off key areas of support and resistance where I'm looking for volume, but not only volume, but the naked point of control. So you can pull this area, and this is just a naked point of control because it's never been touched before. And don't be rude, it's just never been touched and it's naked, okay? So we
Is
can
that a
go
no
over-
zone?
So and then also we've gotten out of the bear market highs, okay? So that's very significant. So this is going to be our key level of support, okay? So going back over to Flow, now we know that, okay, we want this to hold. This is going to be crucial for us to hold at $1.40, and then we want to see that continuation up to the naked point of control, okay? So you want to see support hold here and then the continuation upwards. Now, if we're to get into like the nitty gritty of what you can see a very nice parabolic curve here, kind of coming up. So you look for this to test back and continue upwards, right? And that's kind of how I would look to trade this. But like I said, look at these wicks. I mean, you are really putting yourself at a disadvantage trading something like this, in my opinion, when you're getting these crazy wicks to the downside. Because let's say you use great TA and you're coming through here and you got a good trade setup, and then you're just getting knocked out, right? And that really dampens your risk to reward, where you're having to give yourself such breathing room with the stop loss. So it's hard to trade stuff like this. That's why I typically trade Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, because the TA is much more respected, in my opinion. But for something like this, if you are a swing trader, you can look for these key levels to hold up. So you're looking for this $1.42 hold, and then for the march up, your next level of key resistance is going to be around $1.60. So I would expect some chop within here and some crazy wick to the downside, where you could possibly look to take advantage for a continuation to the upside. But with Flow, I'd be very cautious trading something like this. Maybe it's a DCA and look away and throw away the keys till 2025. Maybe it's one of those.
All right. Army Piper up here.
Army Piper.
Send some Xanax and emotional support, team. I need to not spin out before I make it to St. Thomas next week. My man. Hey, prayers up, brother.
We're sending lots of prayers and lots of good thoughts towards you, Piper. We know you're going through quite a caboozle. We'll call it that. Yeah. So
prayers up, brother. We're thinking about you. Wish you were here, man. You are definitely the linchpin of this show. We miss you,
bro.
The man.
We miss you, sure, and we'll hold it down for you as much as we can. But we miss the Piper.
And then OC guy, we're putting you in the penalty box, bro. I hope you're watching this.
Yeah, he's definitely in the penalty box. So let's
go real quick, TradeFly, before you go ahead and go over Cardanzo there. There was a request for one cat or Caspa whenever you guys get a chance.
Okay, yeah,
Caspa,
man.
No problem.
You got it? Sweet. I got to get the ADA in here for the
Cardanzo, man. Let's see that ADA plus Rebecca.
Yeah. And guess what? No Mexican spaghetti, man. Look how clean this chart is. Ah, damn,
it's so nice, man.
It's pretty.
It's refreshing.
All right, check it out. Two areas, man. We've been talking about what I say. Maybe it was weeks ago. I was like, if we break this level, I was like, it's gonna be clear skies up to 77. Hey, check out that title. thumbnail today, clear skies, baby. Well, we made that move.
Nice.
We came up to 77. Like, and the reason I was looking at it, and I don't have it up right now, is I was looking at the volume. All right, I did a fixed range volume profile, and then I was looking at this area right here. And you guys are gonna see my trend. Like, this is my thing. I'm trying to tell you guys horizontal levels of resistance and support, and then I'll also do, you know, patterns and stuff kind of at an angle as well. You know, if it's following a trend up and right, I'm gonna follow that trend up and right. But what I'm looking at right here is an area that was support, big breakdown. We got that move. Why did I look at this one right here? Check it out. It broke down, came back up, retested it, and then there was confirmation that it was resistance. So then, yeah, I'm going to look at that area. That's a significant area. Well, look, guess what? When it came all the way back up again, look what it did, right? Eventually, yes, it did break through, all right? But you'll see it got rejected. It got rejected. Now, this is what I like to teach you guys, all right? Because we had this area identified for a very long time. Let's see what the move is off of that. All right, we came back. That's a 16% move. Guess where TradeFly's out? Like right around here. That's what I'm looking for in my strategy. I'm never going to be rich. All right, but you know, small trades, I nickel and dime, and I just make a little bit of money. I add it to, you know, had it to the piggy bank every year. And this is what I do. 2 to 3% moves right off a significant area of resistance or support. And then that's it. I just wait, and I wait till it does it again. And you know, this one, it came up. Look, this one is definitely really nice too, because it comes up. Like, all you got to do, like for me, all you got to do is set this area, let's say 67 cents. I usually get a little bit underneath of it just because I understand that, you know, sometimes you seem to find a lot of time the wick doesn't quite make it up.
Yeah.
So I'll get just a little bit underneath of it. And then look at this. Like, if you're looking at the divergence, not even really divergence, but you see the RSI coming down and right. So it's losing a little bit of strength, and that made sense. It correlated to this move down. Cool. Boom, boom. You know, 2 to 3% move. That only puts you like right here. Comes back up for the retest. Now look at this. Look at the difference here. All right. You see this in the RSI. And then look at this one, right? So we come back up for the retest. Now this one is showing you strength going into this one. So would this be one that you want to play? Probably not, because you can see it. You see that strength going up and right. Now, all right, so we made the move. We broke through. Cool. But what we're doing now is we're flipping a significant area of resistance into support. We don't count this one. Why do we not count this one? This is Coinbase. This is when everyone exited at the all-time high. It came down, and then we found support, you know, here on the moving averages, and then boom, it popped back up,
gone.
right? And it came right back into this range. So we're kind of getting confirmation that this wants to act as support and this wants to act as resistance. But again, coming all the way back left on the charts, look, boom, you see it right there. And then you have that big breakdown, and then it's resistance. So what do you look at again? 2 to 3% move off of that. That only puts you like right there.
Yeah.
So just to give you guys like behind the scenes or behind the curtain look at what I like to use, you know, as a personal strategy, totally different than someone like Piper, totally different, I think, than even AlexO. Like, I mean, you're really good at scalping as well, but I think your strategy might be a little bit different. You're a little better at tying in some of these patterns, and I've just seen you do it a little bit different, where I'm very simple. Like, I'm the layman's TA guy. All right. That's the way I like to do it. Piper, I mean, he like holds for a while. I think part of that strategy is like, if you do like I do, then you're looking at paying a significant amount of taxes at the end of the year, right? You got to pay the short-term capital gains, right? That's a face shot. Because it's close to 40%. It's like 35 to 40%. It's crazy. Whereas you hold it for a year, then you're only paying 15%. Now, this is in the United States. I'm not sure how it works in Canada, but you got to keep that, you know, consideration. Like, if you don't want to get in this weird area of like, hey, I'm going to take profits at an all-time high, and then you have to pay 35 to 40% on your capital gains, vice the 15%, you know, if you held. So sometimes you factor that into your stop loss too. Like, okay, where do I need to exit to lock that in? Where does it make sense that, you know, my net profit will be more if I do it this way? So it's something for you guys to always think about.
No, that's so important, man. Like, even like there is decrypted tax down below as well. I do believe it's sponsored on this channel,
There it
but
is.
like it's so important, guys. For me, realizing profits as a business is different than realizing investments, right? So like we pay half capital gains tax in Canada. So capital gains is typically 40%. So we'll pay 20 or like whatever the capital gains is, it'll be half of that. And then we pay 40% on that. So it is extortionate, right? So for us, like, we have to understand what is a business. Like I have a business for my trading, and then I pay myself through that business accordingly, and depending on what tax bracket I want to be in. But then holding is a whole different thing. Like sometimes you realize in December, and sometimes you wait, right? And it's juggling that up to either defer some taxes. Like it's very important that you do have a tax professional kind of educate you on all this stuff that you want to keep as much as you make, right? All this hard-earned work and sweat, you want to keep as much as you're making, right? So it's very good to navigate the system. Like you're always going to have to pay, but there is ways to alleviate some of that, some of those losses, I guess, that you pay to taxes.
Yeah, and so one thing on that note, right, is the wash rule. You tracking? I know you're tracking on that, but like you can get to the end of the year, right? Let's say your crypto is not profitable. Well, in this case, guess what? Like I think pretty much everyone's profitable, like probably last year because it ran up the whole time. So you had to do some really wonky stuff like get liquidated on a crazy trade to be in the negative. But let's say you're in the negative, right? What can you do? Well, at the end of the year, let's say you have realized gains on some of the other stocks or some of your other investments, and you want to offset that. All you got to do is sell off at the end of the year and immediately buy back in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that the government absolutely hates right now is that you can offset those capital gains with some of your crypto losses and actually still buy right back into it. So that's one thing for you guys to consider. Do a little research on that one. I actually used that at one point, and it worked out well.
It helps, yeah, because then you lower your income and all that stuff, and it's all finding where those levels are, and it's obviously different in the U.S. and Canada, but it's also very good to educate yourself on that stuff. Like we didn't learn this stuff, and it is so vital to longevity and building wealth for your family, right?
I'll tell you what, like I've had this discussion with my wife before, and one of the things I was thinking about doing is starting essentially a private school, but like my focus would be like business and life skills from day one. Yeah, we'll do the basics of everything else, but like how do you do your taxes? Like how, like business math, like make that an emphasis.
Yeah.
Like how do you invest? Like how do you run a business? Like those
it's crazy, right?
important things that like you don't learn until you go to college and like specialize in something. And that was like a choice, like, oh, well, I want to do business, as a major and actually get my degree in that. So like it's something that's really crossed my mind. I think it would do well.
True, man. Like even me and my best friend, like this was like 3 days ago, and because I'm becoming a father, right? And he just became a father, and he's like, dude, like I thought, I wanted the SS Chevelle doing wheelies around corner. Like I just want to start a school, man. He's like, I want to have that where I can, teach my kid how to shake someone's hand and look them in the eyes and be a good person, right? And all these integrity things that we never really learned, right? In taxes and starting a business and all that kind of stuff in community. So I think it's so important, but like it's up to us to educate ourselves, right? So it's very important to have this on your radar and to make sure it's a priority in your life, right?
I'm trying to see what Piper said, man. It said I missed it. It said message retracted. Did you catch it?
I didn't catch.
I got it right here.
Is he spreading
he's got
FUD?
it. Zach for the save, baby.
So-
Let's go.
He said, you take all the risk. If you lose your money, you're on your own. If you make money, I want some. Where do I sign up for that?
I think it's in the Piper Academy Discord. Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right on.
that's the goods, man. That's the goods, because it's so important. Taxes are going to be a big thing this year, and you know what? They're coming for it, right? They're coming for it. Don't mess with the IRS.
All right, man. We derailed the heck out of this. Let's get
We're
back
going
on
to
track,
Caspa,
baby.
man. We're going to Caspa,
Train going.
baby.
Whoop. Yes.
Not to toot Piper's horn. Let's go. But we had a buy level. Okay, I know you had the same one as me. We came up here, right? This massive movement. Piper and I said 12.8 cents, guys. This is gonna be set your limit spot buys at 12.8 cents. And we came down and we wicked into this area. And now it looks like there's an attempt to break out of this downtrend. Okay, so not saying that we won't hold here. This has been a good level around 14.8 as well. And then we do have another level below us here around 13.8 as well. So these 8.8 levels seem to be holding up quite nicely for Caspa. But looking at Caspa here in a clear downtrend, right? Overall, big uptrend, right? We're heading up. Medium term time frame, downtrend, right? I always talk about different time frames and different trends. So what we're looking for here is a breakout, retest, and continuation, right? That's what we're looking for here, and a very significant bottoming structure. So when we zoom in here, can we spot any divergences? Oops, don't move that. Lock your fibs.
Oh, Mark's gonna get you, bro.
Oh no.
Incoming Mark. Let's go.
So what do we see here? It's very, very clear. Lower low, higher high. Money flow coming in. Push through the downwards trend line, the retest occurring as we speak. Okay, so we want to look for this possible trade setup, but we want to see confirmed candle closes. For me, I like the 15-minute where I'm looking for confirmed candle closes above, and right now it seems like we're closing below. So this is what I would be looking for, this to hold and a continuation upwards. For now, we want to see Bitcoin hold strong, which we are. We're seeing it hold strong, and we want to see that continuation. Remember, this week is going to be volatile. So we want to trade these breakouts, but we also want to protect ourselves, right? So for me, anything like this, we're looking to take profits early, put that stop loss to entry, and then we have a free ride, right? It's very much protecting ourselves. I believe this week is going to be intense. So we got that beautiful downtrend. We are looking to break out and continue upwards. We want to see this 15.5-ish level hold for continuation. You can see this acted as support throughout this kind of upwards trend over here. So we want to see this hold. If it doesn't hold, then we look to come right back down to this 14.8 area. Okay, and that's what I got for Caspa.
Nice,
what are you
nice.
looking at?
Oh, Captain Jack MATIC at your service, baby. So
let's go.
We've been looking at MATIC for a minute, right? So we've been talking about this cup and handle, and we've been keeping an eye on it. So it's actually right here, and there it is, right? There's a neckline, there's a measured move. Guess what? We made it. We've been talking about it for probably a couple weeks now. We finally made it. But what we were in this channel here, and you could see it was finding support and resistance kind of all the way up, just kind of pogoing back. There's your old Coinbase move right there. But it did come down to roughly the neckline and the moving averages, kind of like when we're looking, I think it was Cardano as well. Same thing, came down to the moving averages and found support and then bounced right back up into the range that it was already in. So it's continued on. We finally played it out, man. Remember, we were looking at 117, 118 was kind of my call based on some previous support and resistance, just coming back left on the chart. Now you got a range here. Like there's a lot of, we'll say a range of support and resistance. So for me right now, that's kind of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm not gonna enter into a long position on MATIC or look to enter a long position right now because we just have too much going on here. There's not a clear like line in the sand for me to say, hey, this is exactly where support is going to be. This is exactly where resistance is going to be. I'm going to find the low side of that. And then I'm going to find that measured move. And then I'm going to try to beat that measured move. And then that would be my exit, right? So we've kind of talked about that. If you guys are still in it, congrats. Like, great job. What you want to find here is this to turn into support. All right. Which it looks like it's trying to. Like if you kind of zoom in a little bit, let's go ahead and look on the 4 hour here. Basically now we're just looking to see, look at that. I mean, it's playing out pretty well. Hasn't had a close underneath of it. So We'll see, but you know, looking at the 4-hour, looking at the prime oscillator, it did get into the overbought situation, but that happens, right? You have things that start making moves up and right. It's an oscillator. You got to understand that there's going to be a bottom and a top with an oscillator. It goes up and down like a wave, you know. So give it time to reset. If it does reset, then there's an opportunity we could see continuation of the upside. That's very much in play, but for me personally, like this is not an area I would go long. But let's go ahead and like zoom out to the weekly because we want to know where we can go with this, right? Like that's what it's all about. Where can we go? So taking a look at that, yeah, see, it's just really not super clear for me, to be honest. Like you got the wicks here, and it closed under, but there's no like real lines in the sand. But like it's just this area that you see support, and then you know this, yeah, that's going to be really tough, honestly. I'm not even going to try to make a call on MATIC. We had the measure move play out, so I'm going to stick with that. Some things you just got to walk away from a winner, and that's probably what I'm going to do with MATIC right now. You would like to see it find support. If it does make a push up, I mean, very likely you could see it start getting up into the $1.50 range, but I'm not making that call with any kind of confidence, just saying that like, hey, that's an area. Let's go ahead and pull the chemtrails. Let's make that happen. Yeah, so that kind of lines up a little bit. Remember, this is on the weekly. There it is, baby. Let's do this.
Go.
It is showing an area of about 129, which lines up with these two wicks right here. So if you pull, oh yeah, look at the volume associated with that. So you can see like this right here is showing you how much volume came in when it actually interacted with this price area right here. So this is another thing. I know I've been saying it for a couple weeks and I am truly sorry, but I am going to make a very quick video on how I actually use it. I'm not going to get in the nitty gritty because I didn't design this thing. Maybe I'll reach out to the Chart Prime team. Maybe they'll give me a little bit more context and background. But what I do, I just simply turn the volume on, and then I clear out a couple things. There's a couple settings I turn off just to make it more clean. But yeah, this is a high volume area. So I would look for a rejection probably at this area just based on this right here. So that would be my next move up to about 129. And then really coming back and looking, like just looking at this, all these intermediate areas, really this kind of stands out to me, right? And then this stands out to me right here. So anywhere in this area could be potential to pull back. But, you know, I think what $1 is still kind of your line in the sand, right? Dollar is your psychological number that has clearly been resistance and support at times. So keep an eye on that. I don't know that we'll come visit that. It just depends on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's daddy. Bitcoin pulls back, then you can expect MATIC to pull back a little bit. Hopefully it goes on a run though. It's still kind of been late getting to the party. So was Cardano. It was late getting to the party, but now it's made its move up to 77. So, you know, it's time to relax a little bit, I think. What you got,
Yeah,
man?
man. That's good, man. No, I like that. That dollar was so significant, and then it had that quick move up, as you can see, and it's
Yep.
finding a bit of resistance there. But it's definitely, I mean, these have yet to really catch up to where Bitcoin is and Ethereum, right? So there'll be a rotation of capital. I'm not sure when because of what's going on with the markets. It seems very heavy Bitcoin right now, and then anticipation for the ETF in May, they're saying. So we'll have to be patient, but I think the rotation will happen all of a sudden, and you know, a lot of people. Hopefully, we can educate people so they don't miss the boat, right?
Oh yeah.
I saw Tesla in there, and then Dot. So I'm gonna go over to them. Tesla. I mean, I'll fall on my sword on Tesla. I've been buying Tesla for quite a while. And I have two levels. I have this parallel channel. This is the weekly. Okay, so this has been a painful experience for us Tesla holders. We were buying down here. I just keep buying. I'm convinced Optimus is going to change the world. The robot. Don't take my advice because it's been a painful ride. Okay, and Mr. Elon at the helm. You cannot deny his conviction. So you can see this downwards trend line that I drew here, and it's at the bottom right now. So $180 Tesla. I'm looking for that to push up. It really it needs to get above this 200 psychological level. 200 has really been a very nice floor. And whenever we dip, you can see they scramble to get back into it, right? You can see the massive sell-off and then the scramble to get back into it over here. So for me, I'm looking for that scramble push back up on Tesla, just keeping it simple. But in my opinion, good DCA level. Now, Mark Dutch said DOT. Okay, now DOT's interesting because I'm not big into polka dot. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not. Maybe I'm just delusional. And I think that diversification is important, but I don't think over like spreading yourself thin is going to be a good tactic either, right? So I try not to be involved. I think I invested maybe 15 currencies in total. But what I noticed here is, yes, I have all these beautiful lines that I should probably clean up, and it's probably driving TradeFly a little bit nuts. So I'll put it into a group and then let it. Oh, there. He feels better. I can tell. I can already feel the relief from him. So what do we see on DOT? We can see that a lot of things are well, ETH is up here, right? A lot of things are up here. So there is a big gap here between where we're trading now and where we're probably heading, right? And that's a beautiful 50% move. So anything like this that you still have conviction on, that is still like, this is bear market territory. Like if we take this box and we flip it down, this is bear market territory, right? We have the sell off here, right, and the massive sell down here. We get FTX here. So I mean, DOT got all the way down to $3, and it's actually looking pretty promising to wanting to push up. Okay, and we know that there is a big move for us to come back and touch this level of resistance. In my opinion, how you can isolate this is that you could take volume in here and volume in here and kind of match these up. So this is how I would find your key levels. And then you have your point of control here. So, you know, this is going to be, and then you don't really see, I don't see much resistance on the way up here. You can see like we got very low volume down at this level here. So like I said, that's a pretty swift move, and that's a 40% move all the way up to around $15 I'd be targeting. So be careful with a breakout trade. However, if we go into the shorter term time frames, this looks like an ascending triangle with a nice flat top, right? We identified this as the top of the bear market, so we can see that this is a very nice top, ascending triangle, continuing to push, right? So for me, looking quite bullish, oscillating above the zero line. Whenever you get a dip down, that tends to push price back up, and you can see you're getting a nice divergence pushing yourself here. So you could be looking for the breakout of this top here. This is a clearly defined top here. So for me, you could look for the breakout and then the retest, right? Breakout, retest, and continuation. That's how I would trade the top, or I'd be looking for some sort of retracement back down to these lows here, where you can see volume picks up right around here, where you're looking for that continuation upwards. But DOT is looking pretty nice right now, I won't lie. And it's important to know where the token is in relation to Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin all-time highs, DOT quite suppressed, not even trading up in previous, not even breaking out of the bear market structure. So it's looking pretty promising, man.
That's a big thing, man. And I've been talking about that quite a bit. Like if you look at Cardano, if you look at a lot of the altcoins, they have not recovered to their previous price levels that they were at when Bitcoin was last at these prices. Now, if you remember a little bit too, when Bitcoin made its move up, like, yeah, Cardano was still slow to the party, but it was slow to the party of like $3.20 some cents. Like we're still at 77 cents. The alt run is not here yet. I mean, it's made its move, but like it's going to get weird, and it's going to get weird quick, especially if we find support and we find an area of consolidation for Bitcoin. What are you going to see? You're going to start seeing some of that rotation of money, and I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Got to be honest.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, that rotation of money is so key. Like even with Bitcoin hitting its all-time highs, alt hit its all-time high 4 weeks or a month after Bitcoin does, right? There's that shift, that transition over of people taking profits in Bitcoin, putting it into alts, and then watching that rip as well. And then hopefully not being someone's exit liquidity, right? It's quite a game to watch, but it happens so fast and it's so quick once they start ripping that we just sit back and enjoy the ride, right?
That's like, you got to be in though, like it depends. Like, it depends on your strategy. Like for me, I've kind of showed you mine, but like if you guys want to make those exponential gains, you got to be in. You got to have skin in the game. It's the only way, because Piper taught you guys that. I think it was about a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. He was like, there's only a few days, maybe like, I can't remember how many he said, and he'll probably chime in the chat. It was only like 5 to 7 days where there's the most significant movement of crypto like throughout the entire year. It's very minute, like how many days actually have those big movements. So looks like we only got about 5 minutes left. So I know there was a request for near. I'm going to look at that really, really quickly on the weekly. And, it's like everything else. The charts all look pretty similar. You had a run up, you had a little pullback, and it running back up again. All right. So love this indicator. This is why. Look at this. You see this big blue? Like, this tells me this is a significant area, and it shows you it's an opportunity, and it lines up. Check it out, man. You had support, breakdown, resistance, come back up for the retest. Explosive movement through it, remember? So same thing. Big movement down, big movement up. What does that tell you? This is a significant area. This is an area to look for. What happens? It comes back and it retests it as support, and that's where we finally found resistance was now support. And guess what? We're ready for the move to the upside, and look at it. It all lines up on the oscillator. It made its move. Now where are we going to find resistance? That's what we have to look for now. Well, I would be in agreement with the indicator here. All right, because you're looking somewhere in this area. There's a range, I'll say, though, because if you're looking at the closes are about right here. So let's go ahead and mark that out for you. Let's where the closes are, and you can see it right there as well, and a wick. You got the wick, and this is all in the weekly. So you got about a zone right now, and you are probably finding a little resistance right there time now, but somewhere between 7.3 and, or correction, take that back. Here we go. Yeah, 7.25 to about 7.68. I'll say is a little range there for near, where you could find some resistance. Let me go ahead and change the color here so it makes it pop a little bit more. I like red. So just if you guys are looking at my charts, just so you know, I like red and like pink, colors that say, hey, there's going to be resistance. And then if it's support, I like to put green. All right, just so you guys understand the coloring that are on my charts. But if it pulls back, look, you see a high volume area here. Again, this is on the weekly. So this is more, zoomed out, not the short term 4 hour or 1 hour stuff. If it pulls back, 5.6 is a likely area, and it just lines up on the charts. All right, just look back left, find your areas so you can find support there. I think you're going to find resistance kind of where you're at right now. All right, so those are kind of your two key areas, I'll say. 5.6 for support, and then anywhere between 7.2 to 7.6 or so, you're going to find some resistance in that zone. And then look at the potential for the run up here. Look at this. No volume right here. No volume. So it could run pretty high if we get moving up and right. That's a quick look at near. We got about 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up, man.
That's it, man. Crazy week ahead, man. It's so good to be on this show with you, and always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me on. I know you guys work so hard to bring alpha to the community, so it's always nice to be able to help out and hang out with you, man.
Oh yeah, this is fun, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, we always have a good time, and we always try to bring as much information packed into an hour for all you guys, and we're very grateful for your guys' continued support.
Oh yeah, Piper, people that sold at rejection that didn't pick up again yet are now behind the gains. Sad. Cry emoji. Sorry, guys. Hey, don't worry about it though. Have an iron stomach. You can always get back in. I promise you that. It's possible. All right. There's always going to be an area of support. There's always going to be an area of resistance. And that's what makes me sleep good at night, because I know there's another trade coming. That's why I love this stuff. So
that's the one, man. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. So you guys go out there, be safe. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you guys tomorrow here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, guys, smash that like button, use a stop loss, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered. Even when we're dead and gone, we'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that numnada source spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
That was awesome, dude!